Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well, or at least better than Vessel is doing in these songs. Um, Got another one today that after the uplift that was Telomeres, we're going on to High Water. And we'll see kind of where the album tonally goes from here. So we'll get right into it.
For the time being, I will still avoid my own questions, and we both bury that history deep. But you know, I can hold my breath forever.
So we have this very minimalist start here. We've just got the synth, and I know I paused it pretty early this time, but if you are a longtime Sleep Token fan, you may notice something kind of curious in the synth line. If you've ever listened to the song Jaws, that motif is definitely here, and you can hear it at the end of some of these lines. So I'll back up.
No, I can hold my breath forever.
There it is. Yep.
For the time being, you are still a perfect reminder of what all of these scars on my arms are for. If I can hold myself together.
This is definitely one of the more heartbreaking deliveries from Vessel in this one. So another incredible chorus on this one. It baffles me how on so many of these songs we can start with just Vessel, and it just draws you in, right? It's just him and the synths, and I'm simplifying it a little bit. There's a lot of production that goes on in the background to these. That's incredibly hard work to help bring us up and keep things exciting. But I mean, for the most part, synth, Vessel, no drums or anything, right? It's the power of his voice, it's the power of the lyrics he's choosing that makes something that should be, like, on paper not that interesting, right, really stand out and draw us in. We can feel what he's feeling, which is the essence of Sleep Token, and they do it so well. I really love when they pull out the clean guitar, or the cleaner guitar sounds. It's just nice.
When the month of infinity buries its teeth in me, I'll slog through the agony for you. And I know you still bear the weight of your own existence, and you'll never bear the weight of two.
Oof. That line just hits hard every time. God. just a fun, energetic return to the chorus there. I say fun for a Sleep Token song. It's still incredibly depressing, but it brings us to a higher energy place right before we go into the last bit of the song.
For the time being, I will admit my defeat again. I will accept that I can't pretend we will ever be together.
It really just does sound like he's barely keeping it together vocally here. Such a good guitar riff here. It's not so complicated that you can't follow it, but it's interesting and heavy and driving. Oh man, that's what I love about Sleep Token's use of like harsh vocals and screaming. It hits that much harder because they reserve it for moments like this, which I would say this is the climax of the album right now. We've kind of hit this moment where everything comes in. We get the drumming that's incredible. We get the best guitar riff of their discography so far, I think, and its ability to kind of drive the song forward. And then he just screams there and gives us like just raw emotion. I feel like a lot of bands in the metal sphere, I like harsh vocals. I like screaming, but I think a lot of bands use it as a crutch. Maybe not as a crutch. They don't use it as a tool quite the same way as Sleep Token does. Screaming is just something they do, but Vessel will scream whenever he wants to get across those moments of intense emotion, which can get lost if it's all screaming. And once again, I don't want to have this take be misconstrued as screaming bad or anything. I don't think that's the case. I just think that when it's done like this, it's very impactful, especially since it's just so much build up. It's 4 minutes of build up to this moment. It's just when that happens, it's special. I love that they just keep this going too. They're not afraid to let us sit in this. Man, what an intense ending. I don't know if you noticed it. Subconsciously, you probably did, but they bring a scream back, but they're kind of putting some delay on it, so it just builds and builds and builds and builds and builds in your ear until it cuts out there at the end, and lets us just kind of fade out. Man, so like I was saying at the end of this song, this is a very, very long instrumental section by most standards for songwriting, and especially if you think like pop songs, right? They would never do this. They would never just like have just pure instrumental for like 2 minutes with like one screamed line in it or one sung line in it, right? I really like that they let us sit in this, especially with the context of the rest of the album. Like this is clearly like we've arrived somewhere. We've hit this like emotional peak, and we can just let the music carry us. Um, Even though Vessel, of course, brings us there with his vocals, the music complements it so well. Man, what a good song! Like this is just an incredible way to kind of round out the album. I know it's not the last song, but I think this is very clearly the climax. And I think it's not just musically the climax, but just emotionally as well, because we get this realization in the lyrics that there's this self deception that's been going on the whole album that has come to light. That Vessel is now looking straight at. Um, which is kind of surprising. It comes right after Telomeres, where it seems like he kind of gives in to um, sleep or this other person, whoever you want to. I might talk a little bit more about the lore after we finish this album, but um, even if you're not into the lore of Sleep Token, the emotion here is very clear. Um, man. Like we get the he's still avoiding his questions. He's burying the history between them. He says, "You know, I can hold my breath forever." Like he's sitting there at the bottom of the ocean, right? Just like as long as I can just hold my breath, we can stay right here. But he knows that it can't last forever. Holding your breath, right, implies there's an end, even though he says he can. I doubt it, man. Um, you're still a perfect reminder of what all of these scars on my arms are for. If I can hold myself together, he's fighting here. And now all this holy imagery that we've had associated with sleep and this other person here is becoming too much, right? I choke myself on sacred vapor, waiting on some holy favor, basking in the solace of regret. It seems my hell is your high water. Wash me clean again before I pull myself beneath the waves. And this realization here, it seems my hell is your high water, right? It's kind of like he's just in the worst possible place, but it's where this other person wants him to be, right? And we get this imagery here again. Like, if you're familiar with sundowning, it comes up pretty early, but this idea of something with its teeth just biting Vessel. And here it says the mouth of infinity buries its teeth in me. Which to me, this makes me think that we can interpret this thing that's biting him as her, the other person, or maybe even death itself. Mouth of Infinity makes me think, okay, well, like endless, maybe it's death that he's really talking about. And really, there's so many just heartbreaking lines in here as well. Um, I know you still bear the weight of your own existence, and you'll never bear the weight of two. Like that's a tough one, and it's even delivered with kind of emphasis because everything drops out, and we get like his harmony, like boosting it. Like that's real rough right there. The idea that you just can't be together with this person; it just won't work. You'll sink too deep. It'll be too heavy, man. And finally, right at the very end of all of this, we get, I will admit my defeat again. I will accept that I can't pretend we will ever be together. Just, I mean, it speaks for itself. It's just, after all the metaphor, um, wrapping this all up in flowery words, it's just right here, just right on the nose. He just says it, that he knows he's pretending and he can't hold himself together. And this is the scream that just, I think, was used so well in the song. Just the idea that it's just all hitting him at once, and he just won't be able to stay here. He's just losing. He can't be where he wants to be forever. And this is especially heartbreaking because of Telomeres, where we had that little bit of catharsis, and it's pulled right back out from under us here. It's just a tough song to get through. I mean, I teared up watching it here. You might have seen, but like it's just powerful. This is peak Sleep Token. It may be my favorite song on the album, but I'll think about it more before I could say that definitively. It just does its job so well. The production's great. It is a simple song that just carries the power in Vessel's vocals and the arrangements. Man. Well, I hope you enjoyed this and you enjoy this song as much as I do. Um, I will get to the last song on the next video and talk about my thoughts on the album as a whole. So what's it all about, right? Maybe I'll talk about the lore a little bit, because I have some new ideas about this album after listening to Take Me Back to Eden, which I will try to explain and make clear in the next video. So I'll see you then.